Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. I'm joined by Bill Humbert, the recruiter guy. He's been coming on for 5 years. This is actually his anniversary. He's a longtime guest and friend of the show. Welcome, Bill. How are you?
Caitlin, thank you very much. And it's so good to see you on this side of the camera.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's an honor to get to actually be the one interviewing you for your anniversary. I'm always on the other side of the camera, so it's great that I get to actually chat with Bill today. So very exciting.
Thank you.
So
yes,
today we are talking about onboarding and new recruits. You said that millennials are the biggest generation next to the baby boomers going into the employment field. So talk about how to keep us. How do we stick around? How do you get us to stay?
How, and it's so important, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And every generation is just slightly different from the one previous. So your generation had the opportunity to see my generation, and what we did, well, we worked our buns off. I mean, we were constantly working.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, you saw the value of that work ethic, but you didn't want to just kind of waste. So, yeah, and you wanted a personal life, too.
It's true. So
your generation's, I'm excited for your generation. It's really doing some cool things already.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. So talk about how we can stick around. What are the key parts of onboarding that can make an employer keep us as employees on that first day?
That first day is so important. And the reason it's important is that millennials have demonstrated that they want a job that means something to the company. And so it's really important for the company to demonstrate that, hey, this is a job that's important to us, and we're happy to have you come here and contribute.
And you said that all of the different teams, different organizations within the company all work together. And so who should the employer introduce you to from the start?
Well, obviously right at the start, what the employer needs to do, or the hiring manager needs to do, is introduce you to the members of the team that you'll be working with.
Right. Your immediate coworkers.
Your immediate coworkers.
Okay.
So if you're in sales, introduce you with the sales team and the sales support team. If you're in marketing, then you introduce them to the marketing team.
Okay.
You want them to feel welcome. That's the most important thing, is make them feel welcome and important.
Yeah. And so marketing needs to meet HR, needs to meet sales, accounting. Everybody can start to meet each other from that point, right?
That's correct. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get that person integrated into the entire team in the company. So accounting and HR work with everybody.
Right.
Sales and marketing usually work closely together. So try to get them integrated into the entire company, not just into their team.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like with anything, it's important to feel welcome. It's important to feel like you belong, you're a part of the community, you're a member that matters. So the first step is to sort of find that community within the employees. And then would the second step be, what is the second step?
Well, obviously you always want to make that person understand where they belong within the company. You know, what are the types of things that they're going to make immediate impacts on? You know, we talked about goals a little bit before we started.
Right.
Understanding what the 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, and 12-month goals are, and then talking as the manager, say to them, you know, what's really important is that I help you.
Yeah.
Because your job is important to us. So if they've got their 3, 6, 9, and 12-month plan out,
right,
their year's laid out for them right on their first day. And it shows them how important they are.
Right, and understanding that your position was created for a purpose, you matter, to just feel validated in what you're doing.
Perfect. You're exactly right.
And what are some next steps once you feel like you've been integrated into the company in order to keep us?
Well, I always tell the hiring manager to ensure that they meet many times with that person when they first start. After the first 2-3 weeks, then you can say, well, we'll get together once a month, or we'll get together once a week, depending on the job and what their goals are. But I like to tell hiring managers or suggest to hiring managers, let's say your start date is Monday. Tell them, hey, we're going to meet on Wednesday. Just want to get a feeling for how things are going. Do you have any concerns? Are you excited about anything in particular? And then let's meet again on Friday. We'll talk about your entire week, and then meet twice the next week and maybe once the following week and kind of go over the same things.
Yeah, it's interesting that you have this topic because I feel that as a millennial, I do see our generation wanting to move a lot. We don't really stay in the same place as much as I feel that previous generations have, where you'll be talking to someone and he'll say, I'm an accountant. I've been an accountant, 30 years, 40 years. That's what I do. That's who I am. And I feel like millennials are more likely to say, oh, well, here are the 10 jobs that I did in the last 3 years.
Right.
And so I think this is an important topic for employees that are looking to have some long-term employees.
Exactly. And, today's world, it's a two-way street. Part of the reason that millennials are willing to move is that companies do such a great job chopping people.
Right.
And so for the employee, you're almost an independent contractor even though you're working for a company as a full-time employee.
Right.
And companies need to start realizing that. And I think part of the problem that companies have, and fortunately or unfortunately as the case may be, my generation is retiring.
Right.
And what we have are people who we're used to seeing people work for 20, 30, 40 years in the same job. Your generation is entirely different.
Oh, yeah, very
from
much
that
so.
perspective.
Yes, it's true.
But it's not to say you can't keep them 5 or 10 years.
Right.
So, MCI, Bill McGowan, the CEO and founder of MCI, had a wonderful perspective. What he told people coming into MCI was, you know what, come here and contribute for 4 or 5 years, learn as much as you can, leave, learn a whole bunch more, and then come back.
Bring your knowledge with you.
Bring your knowledge with you, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important to have that perspective, I think, and his company did really well when he was alive.
Yeah, so just his employees collecting cultural capital, bringing it back, and then adding to the company.
Exactly.
And then maybe moving on from there.
Right.
Back and forth.
Right. And I saw a couple times, I was recruiting IT for them. I saw people, I started recruiting, I was a contingent recruiter, so I was kind of in and out, but I started recruiting for them in '81 and finished in '94. So I saw some people come and go
In return.
a couple times.
Wow. Yeah. Up and down, back and forth.
Yep.
We just can't stay still.
That's right. That's right. And that's okay. Because as long as you're contributing, and I like to tell people there's 2 measures of being happy on the job. Am I making a positive, measurable impact? And am I having fun?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, if they're both there, you're going to have fun. If either one's missing, you won't.
Creating that life you don't want to take a vacation from.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Or, wow, they're actually paying me for this.
Right. When you ask yourself that, that's when you know that you found a good place.
You're right.
Good fit. So my last question for you is on that first day, what is the last sort of thing that the employer wants to leave you with?
The first thing is they want to ask you questions. How did your day go? Did you have fun?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you see the importance of this job?
Right.
And if you ask those 3 questions and the new employee answers them, especially if they're positive, then great. You'll probably keep them for a while. If they say, well, I got a couple of concerns, you better respond.
Right.
Because they may not come back tomorrow.
Yeah. Respect your employee, make them feel respected, I think is huge.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah, they're a part of the company, and their position, whatever it may be, matters. And I guess just recognizing that they are an asset to the company is huge. Well, thank you so much, Bill. Always a pleasure to see you.
Caitlin, it's a pleasure to see you too.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
That is Bill Humbert, the recruiter guy. We're always grateful to have him on the show. Coming up next, we will have Chloe with Red Ledges. So stay tuned. Thank you.